-4 Fantasy Football Podcast.
I'm Killian, notorious bogger and fastest pint puller in the West. This is Gribbon, my most loyal customer. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic pint and said,
By the power of -4, I have the know-how!
Mommy, what you supposed to be over?
Gribbon became the mighty fantasy demon, and I became none the wiser, the most clueless man in fantasy football. Only 3 others share this secret. Our friends, the Weatherman, Matt Damon, and Jesus Christ. Together we formulate some of the best teams in fantasy football in hopes to be the greatest minds in the league.
-4.
Hello everyone and welcome to the -4 Fantasy Podcast hosted by me, Patrick. Today I'm joined by Aidan Ferry.
Hey.
Darren.
Hello.
And the one and only Killian. So
Yes, lad.
today we're going to do our usual nonsense where we're going to talk about our week in fantasy football. Some absolutely fantastic scores this week and some absolutely terrible scores. So where do you want to start, lads? I think maybe we'll start with one of the better scores. Let's go to Aidan first.
Hey,
74 points.
Yeah,
Not bad.
it's a cracker from me, to be fair, in a week where there was a lot of low scores. Got a nice, beautiful green arrow. The green arrow up from 360,000 in the world, I think, up into about 132k, which is nice big rank rise. So I had a good few players now that I kind of kept faith in. So I'm very grateful. Also, a man that we gave out about a lot on the podcast a few weeks ago has been the hero for me a couple of times since. So
Danny Ward, man.
Danny Ward.
We called him an NPC, but
we called him NPC, and he's had 5 clean sheets in 6 games now. So our comments were vastly wrong, and I firmly apologise to Danny Ward. But I'll go through the team here.
Soon to be ended, Aidan.
Sorry.
Soon to be ended. Well,
that's it. He's playing City now, so you never know with Haaland possibly being injured. You never know. He could be a triple captain choice. Huh? But no, 74 points. Nice green arrow. I had Danny Ward in goals for 8. Trippier and Cancelo for 2. Quite unlucky actually. Both conceding just a single goal. Could have been 2 nice clean sheets. I brought in Ben White for Emerson this week. And he got a lovely assist at the start of the match and got his clean sheet wiped out as well. So it would have been a clean sheet, and I think he was on for 2 bonus points as well at the time. So quite unlucky, but quite happy for Ben White to be playing well.
yeah.
In midfield, then
Just on Ben White for a start, Aidan. So a guy I had for I think 36 out of 38 games last season. And he was steady Eddie, always got a few clean sheet points, but I don't think he got a single attacking return. But now it seems whenever you get him in, he's got a lovely assist. So I suppose he is playing right back now, whereas he was playing centre back before.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he ever got a return whenever I had him in last year either, and I don't think he's got an attacking return this year either. But lovely pass into Xhaka and a great finish, so I'll take that all day long.
He's always been able to play there, though. When he played with Brighton before, he was always kind of, a wee bit more attacking. And I mean, I always did wonder when he did slot into centre half with Arsenal whether he'd be strong enough there. And I think it's actually suiting him better now where he is, to be honest.
Oh, big time. And with Tomiyasu kind of not really being the fittest lad ever, Ben White just very rarely being injured kind of works out nicely for him. And when he can swing balls in like that, then he'll keep his place for another 3 weeks anyway. So happy out. Going through the rest of my midfield, I had Zaha for a very disappointing 1-pointer. I had Bowen getting subbed off seconds before West Ham's penalty. So it would have been 5 points and another bonus had he scored. Salah for, what was a horribly frustrating game for Liverpool. Never got going, never looked like scoring either. And then
that's the story of Salah's season, honestly. Every time I've watched him, he's just been not involved.
He's just not firing, is he? And that team just didn't look, Nottingham Forest, you'd think that would be one of the games where they'd try and, set down a marker and try and hammer a team or something, with Nottingham Forest's poor defensive record, but they just never looked like firing. And, Nottingham Forest actually looked like they had the better of the chances. So it was a strange game to watch, but thankful I didn't captain him. I heard pre-match that Nunes wasn't starting, and the temptation was there to captain Salah, but thankfully I didn't. I had Andres Pereira for a lovely 10 points. He's been a hero for me recently. Absolutely delighted. 2 assists and 1 for Mitrovic as well. Mitrovic with a 6-pointer. And it's absolutely beautiful when you get a score notification, Andres Pereira assist, Mitrovic goal. I think there's not many better things. Maddison got a lovely goal from just outside the box against Wolves. He just keeps ticking away from me. The temptation was to swap Maddison for Saka at the weekend, but I just thought I'd hold out one more week and see, and thankful I did. Mitrovic for 6 points, keeps ticking away as well, delighted. And Haaland for a lovely 26 points on captaincy. So, it was a game week where I was very unlucky, but very, very lucky to be getting 74 points. I think that's probably the biggest green arrow I've got in recent times. So cannot complain once. There's going to be a few head scratchers now next week, with Haaland possibly being injured, Solanke being injured, and obviously Nico Williams and Dunk coming up against some tough fixtures. So the next 3 game weeks are going to be a little bit tricky to maneuver, but hopefully shouldn't be too bad. Yeah,
you're in a good position anyway, so I think you've a lot to build on there. Let's move on to Darren, who's also done pretty well. I think all you guys did pretty well. I think it's more me bringing up the rear, but we'll get on to that. Darren.
Yeah, I know. I don't know about doing well. Look, it was a 61, but as I said before we came on, I was going to say before we came on here, before we came on, Trossard on the bench with 7. It's just like one of them things, isn't it? And Williams with 6. So I had Sa in goals, Jose Sa, Perisic, Cancelo, Trippier. So not much points really there in the defence. Jose Sa was one of them players that I brought in and returned 14 2 game weeks ago. Should have probably took him out, but I didn't. Took a chance. Then Zaha, Almiron, Odegaard and De Bruyne. Zaha, again, as Aidan always says, bit of a trap, but never really done anything. Almiron had a great game. I think he's in great form at the moment, and yeah, he's definitely staying in there. Took a chance with Odegaard. I like him as a player, but he actually did score, funny enough, but he was we were watching it at the time. He was the ball was out of play, I think, and then De Bruyne with an amazing shot from outside the box. We all know he's capable of doing that, and he's got me a wee nice return there. Tony unfortunately didn't fire. Mitrovic chipped in with a goal, got 6 points, and then same as Aidan, Haaland captain for a return of 26 in total. Happy enough, just maybe regretting a few decisions I made a couple of game weeks ago, the likes of Pereira, who I took out to try and bolster the midfield with the likes of Zaha and Almiron. Look, should I have done it? It was the right decision at the time, but maybe regretting it a wee bit now.
Yeah, I think just to go on to that, I think it's not a bad shout at all getting Almiron in. I think you're the only one on the podcast who's done that. Am I right in saying? But
I had Almiron earlier on in the season, but he never scored when I had him in, and then I think I got rid of him then a couple of game weeks later. But
fifth highest,
he's such a baller, isn't he? Like he's
fifth highest scoring player in the game.
And I mean, you can't not think of Newcastle are 4th in the table as well. So it'd be obvious. It's kind of obvious enough to get someone from them, I suppose, in an attacking position. But happy enough, but there's definitely three players in there that I would like to change, but obviously that's not going to happen at the moment. But no, as I said, happy enough to get 61.
Look, count your blessings. It's only 3, Darren. I think you're well set up there. Yeah, maybe I don't know. What do you think about Tony's in the future? Is he someone who we're looking to get rid of? Maybe he does this where he like goes on runs blanking and then shows up with like a haul here and
2
there.
Stormer games.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
He has a few blanks and then he scores a hat trick out of nowhere. So he's
He's
just
one of them.
He's just one of those players. He's very hot and cold, but when you have him, he does well.
To be honest, me looking at my team there now, I mean, obviously Jose Sa needs to come out, but like we'll deal with that at another stage. But for me, having Perisic is the worst thing ever because he's starting one game and he gets 14 points. Then he doesn't start and he plays
29 minutes. 29 minutes.
29 minutes. And I was praying to God he didn't come on.
Yeah, because Trossard.
I had Trossard and feeling my pain, Killian. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So there you go.
They're there, lads. They're there.
Move on.
Anyway, let's move on to another person who's had a decent week, it has to be said. Killian.
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. I had it was a lot better than last week anyway. Not for nothing. I had Sa and goals, didn't play out very well. They got absolutely smashed. Idan did tell me beforehand that maybe Ramsdale was the better choice, and then I was like, I'll be fine. But lost 2 points there. Then I had Trippier, Schär, Constanya, and Constanya, or whatever his name is. And Can I just butt in there actually and just say what a shout, Killian, for having him in for the last game week? It's 2 great weeks, 3 great weeks.
3 great. He's had him in for all of the good weeks, like
whatever he's called, we don't care. He's getting points.
Right, absolutely. And then we had the absolute disaster that was Perisic as well. And then midfield, I had Billing, good old Polina, De Bruyne. And then up front, I had Firmino, Haaland, and Mitrovic. I had Trossard on my bench with 7 points as well, which is rather sad. Because I was sitting thinking beforehand, I was like, nothing's going to come out of, them against City. I thought they were going to get absolutely wiped and all that,
Yeah.
but
in isolation, it's the same thing with Nico Williams and Trossard. Everyone was raging that they left those lads on the bench, but if they're playing City and Liverpool respectively, you're not going to play them. Like, that's the long and short of it. Like, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to play defenders against your Man Cities, Liverpools, Arsenal. Like, you're just not going to do it. So like, the fact that they did something is, I think, it's just a bit like, hindsight can always like give you a headache, but if you had the exact same choice next week, you wouldn't play Nico Williams against Man City, like, or you wouldn't play Dunk against Liverpool, and I still wouldn't. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Like,
yeah. But again, other than that, I think Tottenham just kind of ruined my week in general. I had Højbjerg in midfield, didn't play. Perisic came on for 29 minutes. And ruined the chance of getting Trossard in. They scored a goal very, very late. I think it was very late into the Newcastle game, which ruined my clean sheet for my 2 Newcastle defenders. So it's kind of unfortunate in that regard. But it wasn't a terrible week at the same time. Again, Haaland just kind of carries it, doesn't he? But
you still done all right, Killian, to be fair.
Absolutely. 64 points with that many blanks in your team. Is still amazing. It's a great achievement.
I got a fat double green arrow this week as well.
Oof.
Yeah, fine.
I went up 2 positions.
He's off the foot of the table. Considering you missed a week, that's very impressive.
Killian's on the charge.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm very worried.
Talking about people on the charge, Gribben, I'm not far off you now either, am I?
Yes, let's segue on to my team now, which is a bit a bit less positive.
What a transition!
I know.
Oh,
So let's talk through this and see where it all went wrong. But so we got Pope and Nets. Double Newcastle defense there. Trippier as well. They had their clean sheet wiped out by Kane, who I do have, so not the worst. Then Gahey, who I got in a couple of weeks ago from Palace, and he's got a sum total of about 1 point. So good job, Gahey. 0 this week. And then Cancelo, who only got 2. Saka with 1. Thanks for that, Saka. Sinistera, what a disaster that was. Yeah, let's not talk about him. And then Martinelli and Foden. So no scores there in the back line or the midfield. And
that's depressing, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and then another blank in the forward line, Scamacca. Pretty good. Good the first one, got him in, but blanked every match since. And then Kane and Haaland, the only lads consistently returning in the team, and they both got a pretty good haul there. Andreas and Williams on the bench. Again, I probably should have played Andreas against Leeds, but I went for Sinistera, and that was the wrong call, obviously, in hindsight. But yeah, very annoying, and very. If it wasn't for Haaland captain, it would have been, probably a horrendous week. But yeah, 48 points, 3 below the average. So it's just not happening for whatever reason this season so far, anyway.
yeah, it's like there's so many fine margins, isn't it? Like Trippier and Pope, just 1 goal against the run of play. Same with Cancelo. Foden didn't play.
Yeah.
Like there's so many small, tiny margins. It could have gone either way. Like,
yeah, I mean, on paper it's not a bad team, is it? But just
no. Like,
Yeah.
you had a ridiculous run last year. It felt like you couldn't do anything wrong last year. It felt like no matter who you brought in, ended up doing brilliantly. So it's
a bit of a
sad to
prodigy.
see.
well, I don't know. I don't know what's happened this year. I think last year I was very much going. I got a good start, and I was able to kind of look at all the data and sort of make sort of nice smart moves. But since I had a poor start this season, like, I'm trying to make up ground here or there, and looking for lads who are going to get who I think are going to pick up points, sort of maybe the less owned players, and it's just not been working. So this is the second week in a row where I've got a red arrow, so hopefully we can turn it around. Any other observations on my team, lads?
I suppose myself there, Scamacca there, whatever you call him. I actually watched the West Ham Bournemouth game, and like, to be honest, West Ham were really, really lucky actually that they actually got away with 3 points.
Yeah.
And like, he was a bit of a threat, but like, I don't know. I feel like West Ham aren't just really performing at the moment. They're really hot and cold sometimes, So that's
they're quite stagnant. They have a lot of injuries as well, which is kind of causing injuries and them actually playing European football this year for the first time in a while. They're basically playing the same team every game, and it definitely showed in that Bournemouth game. They were leggy. Bowen, Scamacca, like 0 shots on target all across the board. They were very, very lackluster. So bar Kurt Zuma getting very lucky. Like, it probably in isolation, it probably should have been a 0-0 game. It was that poor. Like, there was a handball leading up to the Zuma goal that probably should have been given, and a VAR decision for the penalty that could have gone 50-50 either.
The other thing I'd say there, Gribben, is like, obviously Foden, I think he was scoring ridiculous amount of points 2 or 3 game weeks before this game week, but it comes back to the whole Man City thing of rotation all the time, and the fact that Pep's able to bring in so many different players, and it's always at risk, I suppose, having him.
Well, look, he didn't look like he was going to bet, like, You can't predict it. I don't think it was a bad move getting Foden in now. I think
definitely not.
Most people did that move this week, to be honest.
Yeah. If there's one thing I can say on that, actually, going off Pep Guardiola's press conference last night on Erling Haaland, he was saying that Erling Haaland he's actually listed 3 things. He said that first of all, he was leggy and tired. Second of all, himself and Cancelo both had the influenza. And then he was like, we also subbed him at halftime because he had a small foot injury. So like that's Cancelo and Haaland for me, like a 50-50 to play at the weekend as well. So
he says that though, but he still played them. Like he still started them in that match. So it can't be that much wrong with him, you know what I mean?
Well, he played Cancelo because they don't have any wing backs. He took him off at halftime now when they knew they weren't getting beaten or anything. But it's definitely two big question marks for me this week.
Yeah, so let's maybe look at the fixtures now, and we can see maybe if there's any other fixtures that we want to attack other than the City match. So that is the first match of the weekend, the Leicester versus Man City match at 12:30 on Saturday. Have you ever heard of the Gandhi rule, lads?
Never backed the early kickoff, man.
Yeah. Do you know where that comes from? The meme of sort of Gandhi sort of with the. I'll put this up on screen in post, but yeah, that is the rule in fantasy. Never back the early kickoff because
there you go.
Because if it doesn't come off, and it never seems to, then it kind of ruins your weekend, you know.
Yeah. So
they say you should never captain a player playing in the early kickoff because of the Gandhi rule. So, but I think most people are going to ignore that this week and still go for Haaland. We'll have to see what.
Or in Aidan's case, Danny Ward triple captain, as you mentioned earlier.
Not sure about that. Yeah, maybe we should look at other matches to possibly go for a differential captain, considering most people are going to be captain Haaland, despite. Yeah. I guess there's probably going to be a press conference on Friday, so might be able to judge. I doubt we're going to get any information from that press conference because Pep is a baldy B word, and he doesn't actually give any information away at these things.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to see. Anyway, so the 3 o'clock round of fixtures, I think there's 5 games on. So we've got Spurs away to Bournemouth, Brentford are playing Wolves, Brighton and Chelsea, Palace and Southampton, and Newcastle Villa. So any fixtures there stand out to you, lads?
Arsenal and Nottingham, I think it's going to be a good chance to get a lot of points.
Of the ones I mentioned, Killian, if you were listening, you would have.
My God, man. No, to be fair, all those games look like minefields, to be honest. The only one that I find quite cheeky is Spurs away to Bournemouth, but
I'm actually agreeing with you there, Aidan.
Yeah, like it's one of those, like I've been thinking of.
Are you going to say Moore?
I've been thinking of dropping Salah, because I was angry with him after the Nottingham game. But him playing against a Leeds team about to get Jesse Marsh the sack, that could be one that, like, when we triple captained Salah last year in the double game week, he went on an absolute madness on Leeds last season. I think it was 2 goals and 1 or 2 assists in the game last year. They're playing at home at Anfield. I don't know. I was kind of tinkering with the idea of Salah to Son for that Bournemouth game, but I really don't know. With all the news of the Man City players and all that, I might just leave it off. But Spurs players definitely one to consider for this week out of the 3 o'clocks anyway.
I don't know. I think Spurs have been playing pretty crap recently. We'll have to see how they get on tonight. I'm actually considering spoiler, but getting rid of one of my Spurs players ahead of that match because I think Bournemouth will probably I think Bournemouth could get a draw out of that match, honestly. Yeah, for me, I like the look. I'm interested to see the Newcastle and Villa game. Villa coming off that really big win they had at the weekend, and of course Newcastle have been flying high this season. Hopefully, Newcastle can put Villa back in their place and keep a nice clean sheet.
Big time, yeah. With the double Newcastle defenses all around on fantasy, I'd imagine.
It's a hard one to know though. Leon Bailey, who I transferred out last week, got a solid 13 points. So that was beautiful. Loved that. And he is a cheap option and he looks good for Villa. So you never know. We could get another haul this week. After that, then on Saturday night, you've got Fulham and Everton, and then a really late match, Liverpool and Leeds. That's going to be a tough one for Leeds. I would say you mentioned there that Marsh is probably going to get the sack soon. I don't know, it's a hard one to call. I think Leeds on their day could put it up to Liverpool. You never know, and you don't know what kind of Liverpool team's going to show up. So
exactly.
I was actually impressed there. Sorry to come in there, Patrick.
Sorry,
I was actually impressed with Bournemouth against West Ham, funny enough, just towards the end.
Yeah.
And with Solanke out, wee bit of a cheeky pick, but Big Moore coming in at around 5.4 million. Definitely up in the cheeky picks category at the moment. I don't think Spurs are playing well at all. They're absolutely all over the place, if you ask me. And their captain in particular, Hugo Lloris. So I think that'll be an interesting one. And then I also agree with the Newcastle Villa. Someone like Callum Wilson or someone like that could be a really, really good shout.
Yeah, or Miguel Almiron as you have. That's a really hard game to call. Killian, you mentioned the Arsenal and Forest game earlier. Have you any thing you want to mention about that one?
No, nothing. No. No, I think it'd be a kind of good chance to get a lot of points. I don't know. I don't think Nottingham Forest would do much against Arsenal at this current moment in time. And I think, like this week, I had 3 Arsenal players on my team there just before the wild card, and I'm slowly kind of taking them back. I have 2 now at the moment, but I think that it is a good chance to make a good bank if you have a few Arsenal players in there, or even just chilling on your bench, that you get them in. You might even get your clean sheet or whatever.
Yeah, I'm considering getting an Arsenal player in. And I think anyone who has Gabriel Jesus, he's a possible captaincy shout this weekend. I don't have him personally. I have 2 Arsenal attackers. I have Saka and Martinelli. So I'm in your camp, Killian. I hope they go absolutely nuts against them. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, like I took. You were talking about how people are gonna definitely captain Haaland still, even though there's a chance he might not even play, whatever the chance is. I didn't even think about that. I just went straight for Saka because he has been playing very well, and he has been. He's on
penalties as well.
Yeah. So I think I might go Saka captain.
Just on that, Killian, who do you have? Martinelli and Saka on your team? Arsenal players? Would you be thinking it? No,
I don't have Martinelli at the moment. I have Saka, and I had Ramsdale in goals now. But
would you think of bringing in another Arsenal player? Or
well, see, I had Jesus, I had Saka, and I think I had a third, but I can't remember who the third was.
Yeah.
But you had Odegaard then, who was consistently bringing in points as well. So and Martinelli then. Those 4 players, I feel like if you have at least 2 of them, you have a good chance to come out with, I'd say, a good 15, 16 points at least this week.
Yeah, they are kind of sharing the points right is the only thing. So I would prefer if it was just one person, getting all the points, and then we could be like, that's the guy to get.
Wouldn't we all, Patrick? That's the whole point.
We'd have a team full of them. It'd be class.
Yeah,
we'd all be fighting at the top. Sipping wine.
Saka was that player last season for me. I remember captaining him once on a week where Salah blanked and he got like 2 goals against Norwich. It's fantastic. So if I captain him again this week, I'd be hoping for more of the same. Now, Dougie, you're heading on soon, but I want your prediction for the Man United West Ham result before we go.
Man United West Ham result. Judging by the way West Ham played at the weekend, I wouldn't be too confident. But then again, judging by the way Man United played, I thought they actually played well, to be honest. And I feel like it might be a 2-1 to United. But then again, West Ham are hard to break down, I think. And United will struggle with that. They will sit in deep. And Declan Rice there in front of the back four. Look, it's going to be hard to break down. But yeah, hopefully United 2-1.
2-1. You heard it here first. Cristiano Ronaldo with the goals.
Yeah. Not at all.
I hope he actually plays now. Yeah, well, we'll see. He's back training with the first team now in the lead up to the game against, is it Sheriff they're playing or somewhere?
Sheriff tomorrow night, Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Both teams actually playing Thursday night, so you might see a lot of leggy players on Sunday evening. But
the thing that annoys me with Man United at the moment, and look, it comes back to fantasy. I brought Rashford in because he was playing so well, but playing so well doesn't get you goals, and if he's not scoring goals, it doesn't get me points. And the problem with Rashford is, I think we discussed this a while ago, like he's just open your body, slot it into the corner. He's just not finishing very well at the moment, and it's just so frustrating for him, I'd say, as well, and for a lot of players thinking of bringing him in.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anthony has been the one recently, hasn't he, who's been returning? Bruno, actually. If anyone, you mentioned that you got to ship Salah on this weekend, Aidan. Maybe Bruno Fernandes might be a cheeky wee punt for you. He seems to be captured. He seems to be. Oh, I don't think it's bad.
Not for me. Not for me.
He's a bit too expensive, isn't he, Aidan?
For what he does and his output, like not for me. He was playing quite deep the last day, just looking for ball. And I know the Chelsea game's a bit different. Chelsea play 5 at the back and all that stuff, but I didn't really see a huge amount of danger from him. Definitely to justify his price. If he goes on a hot streak or has a good World Cup, I may think about it, but definitely not now. If I was to move anyone, it might be to Son that have good fixtures or something like that. But I wouldn't be targeting West Ham after maybe a day or 2 days rest after a game. I don't think I'd be bothering.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't do that. Not like I've got a West Ham player as my cheeky pick. No. Anyway, let's just have a quick talk about our transfer plans and cheeky picks. So let's start with you, Darren. Any transfer plans for this weekend or any cheeky picks? You did mention Kiefer Moore. Can you maybe elaborate on why you would suggest such a cheeky pick?
He's just a big man, He's a big man in the box, and Bournemouth love getting some crosses in, and
I guess
you know yourself. Solanke is injured. He's been scoring a lot of goals. He's probably going to play, I'd say. But look, it's a very, very cheeky pick. My other cheeky pick would be Onana for Everton. Mentioned him a couple of weeks ago. Just love him as a player. Everton are actually doing very well lately. But
that's a Killian Ferry transfer right there. If I
it,
ever heard one.
It really is centre midfielder job,
I'm writing it down as we speak.
But transfer plans, as I said, I'd love to take out Perisic. I don't think that's going to happen. I'd love to take out Jose Sa, but I'm looking at points. So I'm at the moment, it's either going to be Sa coming out for someone like Pope or maybe someone else that I know maybe has more of a chance of getting a clean sheet, or Saha will be coming out for 7.5, 8 million midfielder. And at the moment, it's looking like someone from Arsenal. Could be a Martinelli or a Saka.
Good shot.
That's all I'm thinking at the moment.
Very good. Interesting. Let's talk to Aidan next. Any transfers locked in or any cheeky picks?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at the fixtures this week. I thought my team was looking quite good. Solanke being out has kind of ruin that a little bit. We have Maddison playing against Man City. That's a tough one. And then we have Bowen playing against Manchester United. So they're my two main headaches at the minute. Bowen literally has let me down a lot over the last 2 weeks. Since I brought him in, he's been fantastic. He scored. I think he returned in 3 games in a row after I brought him in. But now he's kind of stagnating a bit. Him missing a penalty. There's that question mark around whether he'll be on them or not after Benrahma scored his. So as it stands, I would imagine I will wait until Pep's press conference, see if we can get any more information on the City assets. And then I would imagine my transfer will be just straight swap Bowen to Saka. I was kind of tempted, Maddison obviously playing City, but he does have Everton and West Ham after that. And saying that, the same thing with Bowen, he has Crystal Palace and Leicester at home after the Manchester United match, so it could be a toss-up between Maddison and Bowen, but I don't know. Maddison on his form, having returned 3 of the last 4 games, and Bowen having returned 1 of the last 3 or something like that. I don't know. It's going to be a coin toss, and that's only if the rest of my assets are clear. Solanke's a 50-50. I could well play Nico Williams against Arsenal and hope he does something. The exact same for Dunk against Chelsea. You could see Brighton putting up a good show, being at home against Chelsea. Not too many headaches. I have plenty.
You have lots of players there who have tough fixtures, so
yeah, exactly.
But not necessarily a death sentence for your fantasy points.
No, definitely not. And after kind of the week I had last week, it gives me a little bit of a cushion, I suppose. Even a middling week, the next couple of weeks should do me fine.
Yeah.
In terms of cheeky picks, probably not so cheeky anymore, but one player that I've been praising for the last 6 weeks, Alex Iwobi. Since the start of the season anyways, he's been fantastic, but in terms of an FPL asset, he's been class. And that sitting in that double pivot that Lampard likes to play, I think he's been fantastic. I watched the highlights, the extended highlights for the Everton and Crystal Palace match the last day. I thought he was phenomenal himself. Dwight McNeil, even Calvert-Lewin starting to look like a good asset again now. If you have the cash for him, obviously, because I think he's probably, up there, somewhere between 7.5 and 8 mil.
Who's this?
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, Calvert-Lewin, yeah. I thought you meant Iwobi.
Yeah, but Iwobi definitely is a cheap choice. But around that price bracket, you're talking about, you're talking a down, because I think I'm sitting on 2 8 million midfielders at least. So it's gonna take a little bit of manoeuvring if I want to go down to someone, and even Andreas Pereira is not worth upgrading from just yet. So Iwobi probably won't be one. Iwobi won't be one that I'll be getting myself, but it's definitely one that I would if I had someone possibly a little bit cheaper.
Very good, very good. Now, Killian, I want to know your cheeky picks. I want you to let us know.
Nothing
get your dictionary out here.
Nothing inspirational this week.
What?
I put in Saka for Højbjerg, and I was toying with the idea of taking -4 and switching it, getting rid of either Perisic to take in Saliba, or getting rid of Billing to take in Xhaka. I don't have enough on me at the moment to fork out for a Martinelli. Now, saying that, there is I have a man up front that I just don't like being there. I don't know. feel like I had him last year as well, and he didn't do a bloody tap the whole time I had him then as well. It's Firmino. I took him in. He'd done nothing. Last year, took him in, triple captain for a double game week. Didn't even play. It was great crack. I think he's just cursed on my team. I don't know what it is, but I was thinking about getting rid of him. Who for? Don't know. But I'm still toying with the idea of taking the -4 just because of it. But I mean, this week I think I should be safe enough regardless. The only downside of it would be if Haaland doesn't end up playing. It would come down to Billing to come on and try and clean that up. But again, Bournemouth are against who's the Spurs.
Yeah.
So I
Never
know
know.
it could go either way now, but that's kind of what I've been thinking about so far.
Xhaka is a good pick.
One thing I will say on that as well, Saliba is one yellow card off a suspension.
Wouldn't be like me to pick someone like that, would it?
I would tread quite lightly there. In terms of replacements, I'm not sure what the story is with Gabriel, if he's far away from one, but that was actually the reason I went for Ben White last week, because I didn't fancy getting Saliba in just to get suspended, and that would just be a transfer wasted.
Yes, this is a good segue onto my transfer plans, because that's exactly who I'm planning on getting in. Gabriel for Arsenal. Going to swap Perisic for him. Although Perisic is a great fixture, and he's a lot more likely to get an attacking return, I think Gabriel is probably a little bit safer. He's nailed, and he is a threat from corners, as we all know. And I don't think he has that risk of the yellow card at the minute. I think he's might be on maybe 2 or 3 cards.
Yeah, he's not on the 4 as far as I know.
He's not.
I was just looking at the people that had 4, and Saliba was on that list. So.
Yes, so that is my that is probably my transfer of the week. I'll mention one cheeky pick, and you won't like this at all, but there's sort of a bit of method to this. I think that Aaron Cresswell is a interesting shout. And I'll tell you why, because he might be on penalties.
He might be, yeah. That was one that was mooted as well. If Ben Rama's not the starter, it could be Cresswell. But I believe Cresswell was on the pitch the last day when Ben Rama scored. I could be wrong. So
what happened was it looked like he was going to take it, but then Ben Rama took it off him.
Exactly.
So although Ben Rama did score, you never know. Even just his threat from he's a threat from corners, and he hits free kicks. Bowen kind of took over a lot of his corner taking duties, but they kind of split it now, to be honest. He was a great shout a couple of years ago, an absolute dawn when I had him in my team. So I have a lot of fond memories of having Cresswell. So if you want a cheeky punt, why not go for Aaron Cresswell in defence?
Good shout.
So I think that's all we wanted to talk about fantasy wise. I think the big question is, this week the narrative everyone's pushing is about Haaland possibly being injured. Personally, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to score a hat-trick, because that's just what Haaland does.
Yeah.
And then he'll break his ankle.
Yeah, if one word answer, guys, if Haaland doesn't play, who are you captaining? Let's start with Aidan.
Salah.
Okay, Darren.
Who did he say?
Salah.
Oh, sorry. I'd be probably going with Saka if I bring him in. If I don't bring him in, I'm going to go cheeky, and I'm going to go Almiron.
I like that.
I like that.
I have Saka.
You've Saka. And I might either go, it's either Kane or Saka or Martinelli. I might go Martinelli. He's been probably the better asset this year than Saka. It's just
a danger man.
It's just the penalties, isn't it? It's just the penalties. That's why we would go Saka. So I think that's it then. We'll just do our trivia round if yous are ready.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is a tough round of trivia, boys. And
don't think I'm ever ready for these, to be honest with you, but sure, look.
I think I think you could do okay, but I are very unlikely to get all of these right, I would say.
Lovely.
Okay, so this week's trivia is all about sponsors. So I have a list of all 20 Premier League teams this year, and I want to know their main sponsor. So this is the sponsor that appears on their kit. Yeah, if you can get all the correct answers, then I'll be very impressed. So I guess we'll start with Aidan, and we will go to Darren.
You're just looking for all 20, yeah.
Yeah. I won't. There may be fewer than 20, but I definitely want all the Premier League. Yeah. I want all of the Premier League teams as main sponsors. Yeah, okay. So whenever you're ready, you good to go, Darren?
Yeah.
Killian?
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah.
We hint ahead of time. There's a lot of betting companies on here, so
that's the ones like they'll be.
Okay, we're starting.
Let's go on.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go away then.
Right. Start top or city. Etihad.
Etihad Airways, correct? Yep.
Okay, that's one anyway.
Darren.
Emirates, Arsenal.
Fly Emirates.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yep,
it is
that's
Emirates.
Correct. Yep.
Bet365.
Bet365 is
used to be 1 or 2, didn't it?
No, I don't think
it's not. I don't see it here.
No.
Damn.
But you're on the right track.
Right, so I'm trying to see now. Who else? Liverpool. Standard Chartered.
Yep, correct. Darren?
Okay, that's one.
I can't think of United's.
Oh, I know United's.
Yeah.
Save that one for me.
Team Viewer.
There you go.
Correct. Yep. Killian? Interesting to know who would have got that right.
I know the Everton one's like an elephant.
No, that's what it used to be, lad. I think.
Jumbo.
Damn it. Skip.
More betting companies.
I wouldn't mind, but I was watching the Spurs one. Spurs, no.
Spurs is AIA.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah, that's grand. And then it's the other one, Newcastle's one, is like, I don't know.
If you don't want to pass,
there's Chinese writing in it, is there?
188.
Yeah, 188. Correct. Newcastle.
Is it 8? Is it 3 8s or 2 8s?
I think it's
a different
2.
one.
I think it's 2.
Is it 2? All right. Killian, you know.
I know Fulham is a bookies.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's more 8s, I think.
Two fat ladies. No, you're close though.
Okay.
It's an orange symbol, isn't it? And
Betfair.
Betfair is not right. Think of
which reminds me. Who's the other bet? The other bet one. Betway. Do someone
Betway,
anyway.
Yeah,
I don't
Betway.
know who.
West Ham.
Betway do one. Okay, Darren.
I think Everton is like Kazoo or Kahoo or something like that.
Kazoo is right, but it's not Everton. I'll give it to you. I think it's don't Villa have Kazoo?
Yeah. Okay. I'll take that.
Fair enough. Let's go, Killian.
I'm just trying to think of bookies. Ladbrokes. I don't know.
What about Leicester? They're not King Power anymore, are they?
No, they're not. Leicester is an insurance one, I think. It's FBS.
FBS, yeah, correct. You have about...
Yes.
I'll give you another 30 seconds, see if we can get a few more.
Okay, right. Keep her lit, because I know a few more.
Jeez, go for it then.
If you know, shit.
I actually have this kit at home. Brighton have American Express.
Yep.
I know they do the Celtic one too. Bournemouth have Dafabet.
Chelsea. They have.
Oh, there's a fucking other one. Crystal Palace have Cinch.
Cinch is right.
Yeah. Is Chelsea not 3?
Yeah. Chelsea is 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then Fulham have another. It's like win 888 or 88 or
I'll give you that. It's W888. W88 or W88.
Who are we missing? Brentford. They have no sponsor at all yet, do they?
Brentford.
They're sponsorless. They were at the start of the season. Do they have a sponsor now? Can't think. I don't think they do.
I don't know. Southampton.
Weetabix.
It's Southampton via Go or Go something. No,
yeah, that's time anyway, boys.
I was a bit stuck after that one. Huh?
Yeah, I think Brentford's is a Hollywood bet. I think.
That's the one.
Yeah, Hollywood bet. You only missed a couple. So Leeds is one you missed. SBO Top. I'm not sure what they are. Probably a betting company.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have got that. No.
Nottingham Forest have none, so they have no sponsor. So if you would have said nothing, Killian, I would have given it to you. But you had to open your damn mouth.
Did I not say nothing, or I was talking about Brentford? Was I? I meant not.
You still said nothing. So technically,
we'll give it to you then. We'll give it to you. And then Southampton is sportsbet.io. So there you go.
Sportsbet. Oh God. Yeah. They're tough ones. Those betting ones. Cause
yeah.
They're all the same thing, but there's
some
like
have
one thing different
and
than
some
them.
have 888, and oh God, it's fucking.
Yeah, a couple more here. Everton. Did you figure out what Everton's was?
No, I can't think what Everton's is.
It's stake.com. Stake.
Bugger.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be. I know they used to have Kazoo as well last year.
That's the elephant, is it?
Yeah, they did have Kazoo. That was a good shout from Darren.
No, the elephant is it Chang or CHANG? That's what it used to be.
That's the old one. Yeah, that was years and years ago.
They change it every year. Is the problem?
Yeah.
I think that's why.
That was a good enough effort, though.
Who was Leicester?
Leicester's FPS. We got that one right. There was one left actually. Wolverhampton Wanderers.
That's probably another Asian betting one, is it?
It's I'm not sure. I've never heard of them. AstroPay.
That's crypto.
No idea, man. Probably crypto something related. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember?
See, Wolves have bought a Korean esports team.
No way.
I'm not surprised. There's esports teams for lots of the big clubs like PSG and stuff, and Barcelona. I'll have like League of Legends.
Yeah, no, but these are actually like they were a team anyway. But I seen that the last day we were watching the competition the last day, and the jerseys had like the Wolves logo, and I was like, they can hardly have a logo that close to the football team.
There you go.
I typed it up, and it was actually that they're partners now.
There you go. Interesting the way these like deals go with like the Premier League being so big in like Asia and stuff. I think it's AstroPay was the Wolves sponsor. I don't know if I mentioned that. That's your lot though. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you had a good time. Aidan, do you want to mention sort of how people might be able to contact us or leave a comment on our YouTube?
Absolutely.
And all that?
Yeah. If you're listening to this on Spotify, then please do give it a rating. Once you're kind of towards the end or towards this part, it'll let you give a rating. So if you want to give that 5 stars, that'd be absolutely great. Also, we have a Twitter at -4pod. You'll get us, general week to week, anything that you feel like asking, or you just want to follow along for pod notifications, and please do give us a follow. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, please do leave a comment down below, give it a like, give it a subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in next week's episode.
I will add as well, for those of you who are watching on the likes of YouTube that have the visual aspect and stuff, if you see anything that you think we could also improve on, because this is still kind of new to us, even though we're 14 in now, or 12.
Yeah, 12 episodes.
12. We still are new to it, so any kind of feedback or anything at all, if you like the way that the intros are coming out as well,
yes.
If you'd like to see different ones, let me know. Leave some suggestions on TV shows that you think would be very good with it, and sure. I'll try and work and see what I can do with it.
Sweet.
The magic man himself talking there. So yeah, thanks everyone, and have a good game week.
Bye. See you later.
Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.